Okay, welcome to our first episode of our podcast. I'm going to go around and introduce everybody. So we have Gigi, say hi,
Hi.
and we have Hannah,
Up.
and I'm Kyle, and we also have Trevor.
What up?
So we have some questions that we're going to ask each other, and we have answers prepared. So let's get right into it. First, we're going to start with Gigi. So we both have two questions that we're going to ask everybody, and everyone's going to give off their answers, and we'll rotate through it. So, Gigi, you have the floor.
Sweet. Okay, so the first question I have for everyone is what is a game you had to force yourself to play or a game you really just didn't enjoy?
Alrighty then. I guess I'll answer first. I enjoy a lot of games, but there was one game that I forced myself to play, and I did not like it. It was called Pokemon Sun and Moon. I enjoyed it for a little bit. It was, I don't know, I was never big on the Pokemons growing up. Not a big Nintendo person. But everybody was playing it at the time, and it was a huge development in the Pokemon world, so I bought it too, and I started playing it, and I got really, really bored really, really soon. So I forced myself to play to the end so that I wouldn't get spoiled or anything, and I could still catch up with friends on what it was and what was happening, but I did not enjoy it at all.
So you gave into peer pressure and
I
bought the game?
did. I'm a great example. By the
Oh,
way,
man.
podcast audience, we're all friends. We're not just random people talking. on
Yeah, we're like the
podcast.
four best friends of all time.
Anyone could
That-
have.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, whoever doubted that.
You can get out.
So,
Just so that's established, we are all
yeah, I did.
friends.
I just want to start off. I do have friends now, okay?
I've grown up a little since then. But yeah, Pokemon Sun and Moon. Not that fun.
Do you know when that game came
5 out of
out?
10. I think that game came out right around 2016, 2017 because it
Oh,
was
so it's a
right-
early, or it's a newer game.
Yeah, it was right before I graduated, so it was somewhere around then.
Okay.
It was like a big hype item, so.
Was it on the Wii?
Oh, it was on the. I had a 2DS, but I guess it was technically 3DS because
Oh.
it was right before the Switch launched, actually.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, yeah, it was. It was alright.
Was that one? Was that the popular Pokemon game that came out, or was there one more? I feel
There
like there
one
was,
that came out recently.
like when I worked at Target back in like 2017-ish. I feel like there was a big one that people were
Yeah,
waiting
that's
for.
the one she's talking about.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
I think that's
Okay.
the
Yeah.
one.
Sun
Yeah.
and Moon. Yeah, that sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and then they did that whole scam thing when they were like Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. It was like the same game, but it had like more. It had like two more Pokemon for each game or something. But
Sneaky
you were essentially
bastards.
buying the same game for like however much it was.
That
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah,
Sounds
I
about
would
right.
not have done that. All right,
Okay.
I think Kyle's next.
Yes. So my pick. I don't know. I kind of had a hard time coming up with one because there's a lot of games that I like and that I play through, and I find a lot of good things about games, even if they're not the best. But there's a game that I just was really disappointed in, and I could say this for the first and the second one. I'm gonna go with Battlefront 2, the 2017 one.
The remake.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was hoping for a lot more from these games, both of them. And after the first one came out, I mean, it was okay. It had its, it had whatever it had, but it wasn't I don't know. It was missing something, and I could never pinpoint what it was. And
Gameplay?
I guess gameplay. Yeah.
Now that you mention it.
Yeah. But I mean, the online multiplayer got pretty stale pretty quick, and I just didn't want it to be like another, you know, Call of Duty online game, and it kind of was for me, and that was unfortunate. And then the second one added a few more things because that one had a campaign, and I think when I first played the campaign, I actually really didn't mind it that much. It was really short, which was fine with me. I didn't really care all that much that it was too short. But after reading, the reviews on the game, and everyone was saying how bad the campaign actually was, it kind of twisted my judgment on it more. And then I just was like, to hell with this game. But yeah, I just felt like I was forced to play it because I'm just such a huge Star Wars fan, and I don't know, it was just a pretty big letdown for me.
Yeah.
I
I've never played any of those games.
I paid $70 for the original,
Oh,
like, deluxe version. You know how much I got back for it at GameStop when I returned it like 2 weeks
$2.
later?
$2.
Couple pennies.
I,
In-store
I got like
credit.
a slap in
I
the
got
face.
$7.
Oh shit.
Nice score.
2 weeks.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
I remember the first part of that game while it was like downloading or whatever. There's like this section where it puts you as Darth Vader in
Hmm.
like this little section of Hoth, and you're like in the Hoth base, and there's all these stormtroopers shooting at you for some reason, and you just play as Darth Vader, choking them out and like lightsabering them. And I played that for like an hour while this thing was downloading, and then at the end of it, it was like, oh, we need to download even more to add on to the online
Yeah.
content. And I
God.
was like, are you serious? I can't handle this. I've killed like 8,000 stormtroopers.
When will it end?
It never did until I turned it off.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Okay, my turn. This might be a little bit of a hot take. Honestly, I don't know what kind of reception it got, but the game I had to force myself to play is Kingdom Hearts 3.
No.
I want to start off by saying I absolutely love Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. I played them when they came out on the PlayStation 2. I even rebought them for the PS4. But Kingdom Hearts 3, I don't know what it is about it, but Gigi can attest to this. I had to force myself just to beat it because I wanted to see the ending, if there was an ending. Normally, I don't skip cutscenes on my first playthrough, and I was skipping cutscenes because I didn't care at all.
Hmm.
Because you've seen Frozen, obviously, and you don't need to
Yeah.
see Frozen plus Sora.
But it didn't feel the same at all. It was very pretty, I'll give it that, but it just didn't feel like a Kingdom Hearts game.
Did you feel like you grew out of it? Like, I know it's like a
No.
child
You did
thing.
wait like
Yes.
years and years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just too hyped up, but there are other games that were very hyped up and kind of let people down. So I think I was a little bit guarded from that. Like I didn't hype it up so much that I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a perfect game, because I knew it's been in development for a while and it was on hiatus for a while.
Right.
So I didn't personally hype it up, but I was expecting that Kingdom Hearts feel to it.
And it just didn't have
And
it.
it didn't deliver at all.
And what would you say is the Kingdom Hearts feel?
It's this mixture of this sense of magic and nostalgia and wonder in like this story about this just a kid, this kid who lived on an island or some town and how he's intertwined through destiny with these other people. Um,
Deep.
One
yeah.
last question.
That was a pretty good summary. I don't know anything about the story, but that was pretty spot on.
It's well, at least the first two, they had a very good blend of Disney and Square Enix,
Mm-hmm.
or at the very least, Final Fantasy characters. So you got that kind of realistic Final Fantasy characters, and you mix them with the like Winnie the Pooh and Mickey Mouse and Aladdin.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a cool combination of like the super realistic and the cartoony characters mixed together.
Yeah, I would ask questions, but I don't know anything about those games at all. So,
Yeah, I didn't really. I played the
So,
first one a little bit. That
did the
was it.
third one come out a long time ago, or was it recent?
No, I believe it came out last year, I want to
Oh,
say.
okay.
I think you're right.
I want to say early last year, maybe around March or April.
Uh-huh.
Um, I bought it right away. I remember playing.
Two. Is that
Petey's
right?
looking it up.
2/12/2019.
Not that it really matters,
No,
but
February?
It matters.
Gosh.
so it looks like February 2019.
Okay.
I played it right when it first came out. Just kind of I'm excited to play this. Let's get it done. And then
Yeah.
as time progressed, it was like weeks in between playing, maybe months in between playing, and then I gotta get this done. So I just forced myself to play it.
yeah,
Yeah,
which
that's
is really
one thing.
weird for you.
That's one thing I think a game should never be is let's get this done. I feel
Yeah,
like
a
that's
chore.
a
Yeah,
red
that's
flag.
that's yeah, exactly. Red flag, yeah.
Yeah.
So it looked pretty, but it didn't perform well.
Uh, the gameplay was good.
The,
It did get a little repetitive, but it was the story.
the story, okay.
I think the story, maybe the characters.
Yeah, you always have to have good characters. That goes for anything almost.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, my turn.
Yep.
Okay. I don't think any of you have played this game before. But it's from the Saints Row franchise, and I think it came out between the third and the fourth game, if I'm not mistaken, or like right after the fourth game. It's called Gat Out of Hell,
I've heard of it.
and
Saints
it's
Row Get Out of Hell.
yeah, and pretty much I think it's supposed to take place between the two. I don't know. But I really enjoy Saints Row, so I was like, oh man, so excited because it's based off of one character. And then they did like a story around him, and I played it like a little bit. I didn't even finish it because I was like, I hate it. I don't want to play it
Yeah.
anymore. So yeah, that's the game I chose.
I honestly thought you were gonna say God of War.
It was more of for God of War for me. It was more of like a personal preference.
It was too gory.
It was too
for her.
gory, and I didn't. I just was like, I'm not gonna be able to play
She
it.
played, I think, like maybe 2 hours or something, if that.
Hmm.
And just like, nope, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that was more personal preference. This one, I was just like, I wanted to play it because it has like the story, the in-between story, but I was like, I don't know, I just didn't enjoy it, so I didn't want to force myself to play it. So
Yeah.
I just was like, well, just not gonna play it then.
So I don't think I've played any of the games you guys mentioned. So
I've played a little bit of Kingdom Hearts 3, just like the first
Did
level.
you?
Yes.
Was it a demo or trying it from like a friend?
From a friend, yeah.
Okay.
And it was like the whole part with Hercules and going back and him being like, oh man, I'm level 1 again.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do anything. I'm Sora.
Although I will say I appreciate in the first Kingdom Hearts, you go to Hercules, trying to prove yourself to be a hero, and near the end of it, there's a little bit of like, okay, maybe you guys might be heroes, and then in the second one, he does acknowledge that you three, you three being Sora, Donald, and Goofy, are indeed heroes. And in the third one, that's still there. Like, there's no, okay, well, you guys were heroes, but since you're low level, you're not heroes anymore. Like, he still thought of the trio as heroes, which I appreciated.
I liked how Maleficent and Pete just show up for like 2 seconds to be like, "Hey, we're here. We
Yeah.
were in the other games too. We're still pals."
By the way, YOLO.
So yeah, I played a little bit of that one, and I played Battlefield 1 a little bit, but I have not played God Out of Hell.
Don't.
Here's the lesson, kids.
Yeah.
Straight up don't for anything in
Don't
life.
do it.
For these 4 games, at least, don't.
Yeah.
Unless you're a diehard.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on. We're on to Hannah's first question now.
All right. My first question for y'all is, what is your favorite line from a movie, a TV show, and a game? One from each.
I kind of had a hard time with this because I'm not really good at remembering quotes, like word for word. So I had to look up a bunch. Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, we
You
Googled
got the
all
internet.
ours.
No, I get it. I understand. I get it.
Hold out. It's fine. It's fine.
But I couldn't figure out like where to start. Like, what's a movie that I really enjoy, or what's a TV
Yeah.
show, you know? So I had nowhere
Yeah.
to like start because I was like, well, I love this movie, but I don't remember any like super great quotes. But what a quote that my dad always like references and stuff, and like I've kind of just like grown to hear it every so often. It's from the movie Dirty Harry, starring Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
And I think it's towards the end of the movie. So the thing I love about that character, Harry Callahan, is that he's pretty like nonchalant about everything, but he's also so badass, which is pretty much Clint Eastwood in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And the line from the movie is he's got this guy pinned down on the ground, and he just shot all of his bullets from his gun, and he has a revolver. So a revolver has 6 shots. And so he's got the guy pinned down on the ground, and he's talking about, well, I wasn't really keeping track because of all the excitement. So I'm not sure if I have one more bullet or if I don't. And then the line is, you've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk? And then that's the quote. And then he fires the gun at the guy, but it's all out of bullets. And then he just kind of laughs and walks away. So that's my quote for the movie.
Nice.
And then a TV show. Mine is from The Walking Dead. I watch that show still, even though a lot of people have given up on it over the years. But there's something that is constantly said throughout the series. In the show, for people that don't know, they call zombies walkers in the show. And so Rick Grimes, who's like the main protagonist of the show, he has like this code for whenever they're seeing if they can get new people to join their group. He asks them 3 questions. He says, how many walkers have you killed? How many people have you killed? And why? And it's something that I quote all the time, just randomly. And whenever I hear it in the show, like, it happens so often. So it's like the first thing that came to my mind. And
Thought it was gonna be Coral.
yeah, Coral, Lori. Yeah, classic. And from a video game, kind of had the same problem with the movie. I know so many video games, but I don't know the lines. But one that always sticks with me is, I think it happens at the very beginning of the game. It's from Half-Life 2. It's the I think his name. I think he's referred to as the G Man, the guy with the suit.
Yeah, G-Man.
Oh,
Um,
he sounds cool.
yeah. So he's he
That sounds
gives
really
off
cool.
these like super creepy vibes, and but one of the things that he says like to start off the game is he says
Yeah.
the right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world, and I've always kind of known that line because I've played that game so many times, and that's like one of the first things that's being said in the game. So those are my three lines.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
seen this off of Dirty Harry called Clean Harry, starring Mr. Clean?
Mr. Clean. I think that one's in the works, yeah.
Those are all good quotes, though. Those are good.
Really,
Yeah.
really hoping that Howie Mandel plays Mr. Clean, but
Yeah.
anyway,
Okay.
sorry, bad joke.
So for mine, the movie is from Saving Private Ryan.
Hmm.
And this is at the very end, kind of when they age Matt Damon. Like he's just standing there and all of a sudden he's an old guy in the cemetery. And he stands up from he was kind of like crouched next to the grave and he stands up. His wife runs over and he says, "Tell me I've lived a good life."
Mm.
And then his wife goes, "What?" And then he says, "Tell me I'm a good man." Uh, that scene always gets me. Just like you see the captain just laying down his life, not just the captain, but like the whole troop, just trying to find this one kid, bring him back home because all his brothers have died in war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's just trying to get that confirmation from his wife that like he earned his life, he earned their death.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's such a powerful scene right there.
Yeah.
Totally.
Powerful movie.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Woo.
So from the TV show, I chose Breaking Bad, specifically the episode Ozymandias.
Nice.
Cool.
Uh, for those of you who don't know, it's a show about a guy who gets cancer and then he turns to making crystal meth to first pay for the cancer and then pay for his family, and then he kind of becomes corrupt.
Hmm.
So Ozymandias, he's found out Walter White is Heisenberg, and not only that, but his wife, who found out a little bit before, is looking at prison times. Like she's going to be guilty by association.
Hmm.
So the line is, "You stupid bitch," which out of context doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
But he's on the phone with Skylar, his wife,
Ugh, she was
and
horrible.
she's lying by saying the police aren't listening, which of course they are, and
Right.
Walter knows that. So in this scene, Walter pretty much says, or he absolves her of all the guilt and blame by saying, "I'm the mastermind behind this. You were just trying to follow orders because you had no choice."
Hmm.
So um, I think that was a very well done scene.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Um,
Nice.
can I say something
Yeah,
real
go ahead.
quick?
Yeah.
Another line from that show earlier in the series. I think it's probably like season two. I don't know, but Walter is with Gretchen at a restaurant, and it's sort of the same kind of context because Gretchen wants to know what's wrong with Walter and why he's acting this way, and he's basically
Yeah.
a different man, and she's trying to reach out to him, and Walter takes it as like a blow to his ego, and because he's becoming this this drug mastermind,
Yeah.
and he just straight up says to Gretchen to her face, like a longtime colleague and friend and former possible lover, he says fuck you, and it's like
Yeah.
it's so powerful, just exactly how when he calls Skylar a bitch, like that same sort of like emphasis, and it's just like the way that Bryan Cranston delivers that line is just like so like gut wrenching, basically.
Yeah. I mean, you can see him in the Ozymandias episode when he's saying that like he's crying a
Yeah,
little.
definitely.
Like it's breaking his heart to talk to his wife this way.
Yeah, because he's failed,
But
basically.
yeah, like he knows he's pretty much at the end of whether he makes it or not.
Yeah,
He's trying to do this for her one last time.
yeah.
Okay, so the game, which none of you have played, is going to be Guild Wars 2.
Mhm.
It's an MMO on the computer.
Wait, I've played that.
Did you really?
With you.
Guild Wars
Damn.
2?
Yeah,
When?
long time ago.
Is that the one with the wizard stuff?
You and Gigi and I played together.
I don't
Yeah.
remember that, honestly.
I still
Yeah.
have it on my computer.
Do you really?
Yeah! I did play that.
I play it every day, waiting for you to come back.
Why
I was
haven't you
on
logged
there, all
on?
the chats were open.
Okay.
I had a cat character.
Okay, so there's an antagonist named Palawa Joko who is a lich.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Palawa Joko.
Thank you.
So, for those who don't know, liches are immortal. You can kill them, but they'll just come back to life because of like these certain powers, and they have these phylacteries where their soul can kind of recuperate. Anyway, I believe this is in one of the expansions. You fight him, you beat him obviously because you're the hero, and then he starts coming back to life. He's battered and broken, and he's trying to like put his arms back in place and whatever. But this is kind of a long speech, so if you guys will permit me, I'd like to say the whole thing. But if not, I can kind of just give the last couple lines.
Oh, here we go.
Do whatever
Okay,
you need
so-
to do.
I'm just
Okay.
kidding. Go ahead.
So he's talking to the commander, you, the hero.
Me?
The rumors of my immortality are drastically understated. Oh, Commander, you look so disappointed, so impotent. I feel for you, I really do. But let's be honest, you knew in your heart. Fear not, the world will not forget you. The scars you've gouged into it will spell out your name for all to see. I confess, I was happy to take credit for your victories. But did you ever stop to wonder what that says about you? That so many bought what I was selling? They call me a monster and you a hero. The world expects Palawa Joko to dare to throw reality into chaos. But surely no mortal would be so monumentally stupid as to destroy a dragon, the life force of this world, let alone two, and a god to boot? Perhaps they will finally thank me for luring you to me, so that I may save the world from you.
Damn, that's
That was long. You're right.
Yeah.
all right. So we're out of time, guys.
But the first time I played it, beat him, listened to that speech, like, my jaw dropped. I never
Wow.
thought of it that way. Like, you are the good guy, so why is he talking like he's the good guy?
Yeah,
And, like, I kind of thought about it, like, yeah, sure, you're destroying these places you've been to, but it's to save the world, right? But, like, I don't know, I just kind of thought, like, sure, just because you're the good guy doesn't mean you're not doing damage.
right.
Yeah.
A lot of TV shows or video games. It's an argument that's said on The Walking Dead a lot because our protagonists sometimes are viewed as the bad guys, but since they're the people that we're following, they're the good
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
But really, sometimes they're not the good guys.
True.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Shoot.
okay.
Gigi's turn.
Gigi.
You want me to follow up? I don't.
She has the same
Just
exact
walk
quote.
away.
Sorry, can't do it. Gotta go. Okay. So for movie quote, it's a quote from Juno, and it's Juno having a talk with her dad about love, and I don't know. It is kind of put in the perspective of what you should, I guess, potentially look for in a significant other, rather than like the romantic type. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I like it. Anyways, um, so this is the dad talking to Juno. Look, in my opinion, the best thing you can do is find a person who loves you for exactly what you are. Good mood, bad mood, ugly, pretty, handsome, what have you. The right person is still going to think the sun shines out your ass. That's the kind of person that's worth sticking with.
That's a solid quote right there.
I like
Yeah.
Right?
it.
You know
Such
who
a
delivered it?
such a good dad quote.
Rainn Wilson?
J.K. Simmons.
I was actually wondering who
Oh,
that
J.K.
That's right. That is.
Yeah.
Oh
that
my
up
gosh.
with, I need pictures of Spider-Man.
Get out! You're fired.
Yeah, it was just like one of the, I don't know, I don't want to say realest things I've heard, but like it's definitely one of those quotes where you're just like, yeah, like I should be who I want to be, and
Yeah.
whoever
Yeah.
loves me should accept that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one is a TV show, and Hannah's probably gonna be the only one that knows. But it's from Steven, yeah, Steven Universe.
Yep.
From one of my favorite characters, Amethyst, and the context is they're kind of trying to make their friends get back together and help them resolve their issues. And even though they're all battling with their own problems, um, yeah, she just doesn't. She wants to still be a good friend to Steven and not dump any of her problems onto him. And yeah, so here's a quote. And right now, I'm not gonna dump another 1,000-year-old complex on you or anyone else. I'm ending it right here. I am the ding dong sunshine future, your friend forever, and I'm not gonna fall apart on you. And yeah.
I love that quote.
It's a good quote. It just really shows that um, she knows that she has problems, and right now it's not the time to focus on herself because she sees her friends dealing with other, like their own issues, and right now she wants to make sure that everyone else is okay, and then she'll deal with herself later, which I feel like I can really do sometimes.
Yeah. It also
Yeah.
shows a huge growth for her character because she started off as the most immature character, like super self-centered, super immature, like always joking around like a little kid. But by the time she reaches the point of that quote, she's very grown up and matured, and learned her place in the world, which is it's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really good episode, a really good scene, I should say. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then for the game, it's from Batman Arkham City, and it's a conversation between Batman and the Joker. And Batman goes, "It's. I think the Joker is dying in this scene, I believe."
Spoilers.
And Batman, yeah, spoiler alert. Been out forever, but you know,
Better do it in
YOLO.
a Batman voice.
I can't. I don't have a Batman.
Do your best,
Oh,
George
man.
Clooney.
No. Okay. You want to know something funny? Even after everything you've done, I would have saved you. The Joker laughs, coughs. That is pretty funny. Which it kind of shows Batman, I guess, characteristics of always wanting to be the hero in any situation, even if that includes his like nemesis of life, the Joker.
Yeah.
To quote Alanis Morissette, "Isn't it ironic?"
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, that's great. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, teacher.
round us out.
Go for it.
So I had a hard time nailing down favorites because movie quotes is my life. That's just what I do best.
Yeah.
So I have a couple for each, but I'll do them real quick. So for movie, it's a big three-way tie. There's one from the Avengers, the original Avengers movie, and it's a conversation between Loki and this random crowd in like Germany or whatever they're at.
Yeah.
And he's basically explaining how flawed humanity is, and it was just like I remember watching that scene and just like wanting to kneel myself because I was like, dang, this is a good speech. So Loki yells at everybody, he's like, kneel! And he's like, kneel before me. Is this not simpler? Is this not your natural state? It's the unspoken truth of humanity that you crave subjugation. The bright lure of freedom diminishes your life's joy in a mad scramble for power, for identity. You were made to be ruled, and in the end, you will always kneel. And then one little dude stands up, this little German man, he's like, not to men like you. And he's like, there are no men like me. And the German man says, there are always men like you. And I was just like, damn, the scene. But yeah, that was such like a powerful speech and very greatly crafted in the way that he said it and just exposed the truth of humanity in like a couple sentences.
Yeah.
So that was one of them. The second one is from Whiplash, and it's by J.K. Simmons, of course. And he basically is talking to his students that he's been teaching and kind of abusing throughout the whole movie, and you can tell that this is like a real genuine moment between the two of them, and it's a very rare genuine moment. Because he's constantly like yelling at him because he wants him to be the best. And so he says after a while that there are no two words in the English language more harmful than good job. And that was just a quote that I took very profoundly, just because it makes you think about the words good job. It means like you've done it. You've done the thing, and it doesn't leave potential for more. So for me, like as an artist, I'm always craving to learn more things and get better and better and better. There's never like a point where I want to stop. Mm-hmm. And I feel like good job is something that aims to make you stop because you've already done it. You've done the job and you've been told you did good. So it's kind of, it's a profound thing to say. It's very powerful too. Exactly. The last quote I had from a movie was from Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls.
Oh my god, what?
Classic.
Oh my god.
It is my favorite parts where he's running through the forest and getting hit with darts. And he leans on a tree and he's like, 3 darts is too much. It's so random, it's so Jim Carrey humor, and it's literally like he gets 3 more after that, and like, hey, like you're hitting me with these like elephant-sized tranquilizer darts. And the fact that he says 3 specifically is it just cracks me up every single time.
I was not expecting you to quote Ace Ventura.
I will love it. For TV show, I have 2. I kind of narrowed it down between. The first one's from Cowboy Bebop, and it's from one of my favorite episodes where it's this setting of, it's very much like the movie Alien, where they're in the ship and the power's down, so all the, everything's dark. They're being hunted by this creature, and it gets through this whole story where people are getting taken down one by one, and it finally leaves Spike at the very end, and he comes to the realization that the thing that's chasing them was that he left in the fridge. And he left it in the fridge for like years, and
Oh
it came
God.
alive and started hunting them down. So there's a quote at the end when he's just like, so that's the story. What was the real lesson? Don't leave things in the fridge. It's the perfect ending to like this high stakes episode that they put together, and you realize at the very end it's just like, well, don't leave things in the fridge and they won't come hunt you.
Yeah.
So there's that one, and then the other one was from Steven Universe Future. It's a recent one, and the context is that this character has just saved a bunch of people from a roller coaster, and they kind of did it in this like what's his face, Quicksilver from X-Men way, where things in slow motion, they're running really quickly, grab everybody, put them all down, and everything moves in slow motion. And then when things come to fast motion, it comes just a little too quick so that they can't save the roller coaster. They saved all the people, but not the roller coaster. And so the character looks at the camera and is like, well, sometimes you save all the people, but the roller coaster still crashes into the ocean. And that's okay. And it just explodes behind them. But yeah, so those are mine for TV. And then lastly for game, I just had two. So the first one was from Uncharted 2, and it's from Sully, who's my favorite of the Uncharted characters. He's just the best.
Same.
And it's a part where they're running through the jungle, and he just blurts out at one point, he's like, I tell you, Nate, I'm sweating like a hooker in church.
Classic Sully.
It gets me every time. But then the other one, of course, is from my favorite game, The Last of Us, and it's from the DLC portion of it, and it's from Ellie's best friend Riley, and they've both just been bitten by zombies, and they're, about to turn and kind of contemplating their options. And the last thing that Riley says was really profound, and it goes like this. She says, there are a million ways we should have died before today, and a million ways we can die before tomorrow. But we fight for every second that we get to spend with each other. Whether it's 2 minutes or 2 days, we don't give that up. And it makes me cry every time.
I almost cried to see what you said.
Yeah. Just give me a second.
Aw.
It's so sad because Ellie doesn't turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw. Spoilers alert.
Yeah, spoilers! Sorry. Game's like
Aw.
super old anyways.
It is. Yeah, the new one's coming out here shortly. So.
Hopefully, yeah. Okay, so my question is, what are your 3 love to hate characters from one movie, one TV show, and one video game? And if you had to be neighbors with one of those 3 for the rest of your life, who would you choose?
Okay, this I kind of had difficulty with, just because there's so many different antagonists, and they all have different levels of love to hate. But for the film, I chose the movie Gladiator, the antagonist being Commodus. That guy, I hate that guy. He's such an asshole.
Isn't
whole
that
movie.
Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, even at the very end, when what's his name? The main character. Anyway, main character, he's tied up, really can't do anything, and he knows he's going into this fight against Commodus. And Commodus just sticks him pretty much in the lungs with like a sharp knife, just to try to give himself an advantage. Like, here's this amazing gladiator who's tried to fight for his life, for his freedom, and he's cheating. Like,
Yeah.
what a butthole.
Yeah, what a dick.
Yeah.
I thought he
Prison
was
jinxes.
amazing. Yeah, I thought he was an amazing antagonist. All right, for the game, I chose Edgar Ross. Um, he is in Red Dead 1 and 2.
Right.
The first one, he's kind of like the spearhead behind blackmailing John Marston. He kind of gives him like this light at the end of the tunnel. Hey, you do this stuff for us. We're gonna leave you alone for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
But he reneges on that at the very end, and John dies.
Dick
Spoiler
move.
alert.
Yep.
But he's like, nope, I can't let this slide. And you can see him a little bit in Red Dead 2.
Yeah.
But he didn't play that much of a role in that.
Mm-hmm.
I was mainly going for the Red Dead 1 part because like John was just trying so hard just to get his life on track,
Yeah.
and it was taken away from him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
TV, I'm not really sure if I agree with this one. This one I think was the most difficult of all, but I chose Joffrey from the show Game of Thrones. He was just a little shit.
Good kid.
He was this kid who should never have been king, let alone anywhere near a place of power, and he abused it until he died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's someone you're supposed to hate. He did a pretty good job at making people hate him. He even got slapped around by his own uncle a couple of times,
Yeah.
which was amazing to see.
10
Yeah.
out of 10 on that.
I'm sure if I had just a compiled list of all the TV bad people I've ever watched, I might have chosen someone else, but I think Joffrey was a solid pick for that.
Oh, absolutely.
Cool.
And then who was your neighbor? Or
Oh, right. Of those three, if I had to choose, I would choose Edgar Ross. First, if I'm living in the 21st century and he's coming straight out of 1911,
You might have an
I don't
advantage.
yeah, I don't think we would be neighbors for too long.
Yeah.
Not to mention,
Oh.
he is a government agent, so I don't think there'd be too much trouble coming from him.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I could see him being the guy who calls the cops on you just because, like, you have your porch lights on for too long. It's
Yeah.
dark
yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
This guy's had his Christmas lights on
Yeah.
forever.
He might be a little bit of a butthole, but as
As a
like
neighbor.
he was definitely preferable to Commodus and Joffrey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Commodus would just come over and be like, "Can I borrow some sugar?" Stab.
Yeah.
Oh man. So for mine, I think I have them in a different order than you, but whatever. For films, I picked Anakin Skywalker, the prequels.
Which age level? What are we talking? Like Phantom
Yeah.
Menace
We're
or like
talking,
Revenge of the Sith?
Where he's an adult.
Or
And he's
Attack of the
like-
Clones, because he's pretty annoying in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one. Sorry. But no, I have.
What?
Anyways, yeah. So I was a young adult Anakin Skywalker.
Okay.
I find him humorous. His complaining makes me laugh.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll do that. And then for TV shows, I did Jeremy Jam from Parks and Rec.
Oh,
The
Ooh, that's a
dentist.
good one.
that's a good one.
He's the dentist, and then becomes dentist slash councilman. Who is Leslie Knope's pretty much nemesis. One of her
You got
nemesis.
jammed.
But, yeah, he's such a douche though. So that's my TV pick. And then for games, I picked Claptrap from Borderlands.
What? He's not a.
He's annoying.
He is annoying.
He's really annoying. I know, like he's not really necessary. Well, I mean, he helps you. I guess you could say he's a good guy, but he's really not. He does things for himself, more or
Mhm.
less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I picked him. And who I would I guess prefer as my neighbor would be Anakin Skywalker. Mostly because Claptrap would probably be the one that just barges in without knocking.
Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah.
friend! And be like, fuck you, man, get out. I don't want Jeremy Jam because he's like a douche and a pervert, and I feel like any interaction with him, I would want to punch him. So when I come home, I don't come home to be angry.
Yeah.
Well, as long as you don't have sand in your front yard, you should be
That's what I
fine.
was
See,
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say.
I was gonna say something like that too.
I
And
was gonna say I could keep him away with the sandbox. Like I'd be
yeah,
fine.
yeah. Sandcastle out front.
Yeah.
Hey, neighbor. And don't have any tips on living with Anakin Skywalker 101. Don't have any sand, or have a lot of sand, depending on your preference. Don't have any younglings,
I was gonna say, yeah.
and
Don't have a pear tree.
yeah.
Cool.
Don't let him fall in love with you.
Yeah. There's my picks.
Good picks. Okay. Well, I'm coming from the same ballpark in the movie department. My movie one would be Jar Jar Binks.
Yep, I knew someone was gonna say it. I knew it.
Oh, Jar Jar.
I hate
Misa,
him.
your neighbor.
I thought for a long time, I was like, is there anyone else in Star Wars that I hate more?
Yeah.
And I was like, no.
Not just Star Wars, any movie.
Fuck.
She was
But
like Star
yeah.
Wars.
I was like, nope. No Jar Jar. I despise him.
Yeah.
Even as a kid, I despised him. But for TV show, it would be from the show Steven Universe, and it would be a young man named Ronaldo.
Oh God.
He is the worst of nerds. He is the type that keeps a blog about conspiracy theories and stuff going on in the city, and he is super annoying and very insensitive as a person, so I hate him as well. For game, I picked from the game Life is Strange, Mr. Jefferson, the
He was
super
my
nice
first pick.
teacher that I hated from the start, and then I was glad I was right on my instincts because he is, spoiler alert, a terrible person.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not to be confused with Mr. Jefferson from South Park, also known as Michael Jackson.
That's ignorant.
Yeah, that's ignorant. Y'all ignorant.
This guy is 10 times worse than that. He's into young high school girls and photographing them. And
Oh boy.
He's also the photography teacher, which is terrible.
Yeah.
Well, I think him and Michael Jackson would have got along pretty well, actually. At least the South Park
God.
version. I mean, I don't like to hate on Michael Jackson, but in South
might
Park
be right.
they definitely showed who he might have been.
Yeah.
But rest in peace,
Right.
Michael Jackson.
So, shut up.
All proceeds from this podcast will
Oh
go
my
to Michael
God.
Jackson's family.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Any of you Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson family members, come on the show. Come on the show.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah,
So-
our schedule is open, so
Yeah.
contact our agents to get on the show.
Oh my
Yep.
God.
Video's
Oh,
gonna get
jeez.
flagged.
Yeah. Reported.
Continuing on, if I had to pick the least, the one I hate the least, I guess, out of the three of them, because I hate all three of them pretty strongly,
Yeah.
it would be Ronaldo. I could live next to Ronaldo because even though he's super annoying, he's constantly out trying to prove his theories. So he's doing
He
a lot
would
of
be home.
research. He would never be home. Mr. Jefferson's straight up creeps, so I feel like he would have like a window that looks directly to my porch or something.
Yeah.
and Jar Jar would just come over.
Yeah, he
And
would.
Claptrap would be coming over like, hello! So,
Misa friend.
Yeah, Misa friend!
Oh,
Misa
God.
Sayasa!
Yeah. It's
So,
great.
yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then my love to hate characters. I don't think this is much of an argument because everyone hates her, but from the Harry Potter series, Dolores Umbridge,
Yes.
she's just the worst. I hate her so much, and I don't think I read. She first appeared in the fifth one, right?
Yes.
I don't think I read that book, but I've seen the movies, and that actress, I mean, great actress, but I fucking hate that character, and I hate the little giggle that she does in the movie, and how just fucked up she is to Harry and everybody, and then she's just an evil lady, and I hope she burns in Harry Potter hell.
Well, I don't know if you remember the scene, but she gets taken into the Forbidden Woods by the centaurs.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
She
yeah.
does.
If you know the mythological lore about centaurs, they would commonly, I guess, kidnap. Is it still kidnap for adults?
Yeah.
They would kidnap women and then rape them.
Oh, God.
Well,
Wow.
She asked
This
for
is
it.
the Harry
It's
Potter
about the R
universe.
word.
Jesus.
So, it's not clear whether or not that actually happened, but
It probably
she
did.
does have a huge fear of centaurs after that.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Yeah, I did not know that. It's very interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, her, I can't stand her. And then from a video game, one that I've actually am just finished up dealing with, from Resident Evil 4, Ramon Salazar. I don't like that little whatever he
Yeah,
is.
he's annoying. Yeah.
He's really annoying. I mean, obviously he's an evil person and
Yeah.
had a lot of problems, and he's basically a servant of the main antagonist. But I can't stand his voice, and I just feel like there's so many opportunities where he could have just killed me, and he didn't. So it's like, what are you even doing? Like, stop, just kill me already,
Cat
or
and
let me go.
mouse.
Yeah,
It's because he couldn't see.
yeah. And then the
Mr.
final,
Kennedy.
kill him, kill him. It's just, and then the final boss battle. Obviously, I've gotten past it, and I don't know if you guys have watched all of that yet, but it just really pissed me off, because I played through that probably like 7 or 8 times, and I knew that he was gonna get me and bite me, eat me, whatever the fuck, but and I knew what I had to do to kill him.
Bite me, eat me.
I knew what I had to do to kill him, but it was just so frustrating the fact that I couldn't kill him. But eventually, I did kick his ass and beat him, and
Good for you.
yeah. And then on the TV show, is a character I actually really like, but I also love to hate because that's who he is. Newman from Seinfeld.
Oh,
He's comedy
Knight.
gold. I love that actor. It's really funny seeing him in like a serious movie, because all I think of is Newman, and then I do what Jerry does in the show where he's like Newman, and it's just such a good dynamic between Jerry Seinfeld and what was his name, Trevor?
Wayne Knight.
Wayne Knight. I think they have a really good dynamic, and then his friendship with Kramer on the show is also it's gold. It's great. I love Newman, and I love his diabolical laugh, and it's a great character. And if I had to choose one to live next to for all of my life, it would be Newman. Obviously, he's a good laugh to have around, and I think I could handle him if he ever tried to pick on me. So, yeah, those are my picks. Trevor?
Okay, so my first question is, what fictional character from any medium best represents who you are?
I problem trying to figure out which character. Um, I was leaning kind of towards Tina from Barb's Burgers, but I feel like I lack her confidence in her weirdness. Um, so I went with Abby from Broad City. Uh, I mostly went with her because, like her, I struggle to find the balance between being a well-functioning adult and then still reminding myself that I can still do fun things and not be a responsible adult. And she's also an artist who's like struggling to get her start in the industry, which I mean I can relate to because I've tried to do it, but not really succeeded. Um, but yeah, so I picked Abby from Broad City.
Okay.
This one was a hard one for me too, because I was like going through all of my favorite characters and things, and I was just like, well, these are what I aspire to be. And not a lot of them are me. That sucks. But I think my pick actually comes from a more recent movie, like a very recent movie. And just from watching it, I was just like, yeah, that one's me. um, and it's Barley from Onward. Onward's the Pixar movie that just came out, and he's the older brother of the main character. He's played by Chris Pratt, which is great.
Yeah.
But he's a big nerd. Like, he's into role-playing games, and everything he does has to be a story or an adventure. He's kind of like the immature older brother, which is very much me. But he's always he knows his role as being the older brother, so he feels a responsibility to his siblings to, you know, kind of build them up and make them the best they can be, because, you know, he was the first one. He feels like he didn't do a great job on his own, but maybe he can make, you know, the sibling the better kid or whatever. So I feel like I fit that role, especially with my siblings, very well. And I'm a huge nerd, so yeah, Barley is my spirit animal.
Nice. Okay, so for me, I also had kind of a hard time picking anybody, because I don't know. I don't even know if I know myself that well, you know? Different people. So my first pick, kind of originally, was actually Peter Parker.
Nice.
Specifically from the movie with Tobey Maguire. Obviously,
There's no other Peter Parker.
there's yeah. Thank you, Hannah. Obviously, obviously there's some cringy writing and bad lines, and the movie itself maybe hasn't aged that well. But I grew up with those movies, especially the first two, and those are kind of like the movies that I've always been very fond of, no matter how the rest of the world sees them. I just love those movies, and I just love, I don't know, I just really like that character a lot, and I feel like if I was a superhero, that would be my character. That's who I would be. I would be Spider-Man. And I just feel like as a kid growing up, I don't know, I feel like I had sort of the same, like, emotional, whatever you call it, that Peter Parker had. I never considered myself like a nerd or an outsider, but I mean, when it comes to love, I feel like he was very naive with Mary Jane, and I think that's kind of how I was in high school. And obviously, I wasn't cheesy like he was or anything like that, but I don't know.
Obviously.
Yeah, because, you know, I'm a stud, but I like to consider myself more like Flash Thompson, but
Oh God.
but yeah,
What you're saying is you're the Andrew Garfield Peter Parker.
I don't know that character as well, but yeah, I don't know. I've always had a special spot for Peter Parker, for that Peter Parker, and that's all I could really come up with. And then another one that kind of came to my mind, just while we were talking about it, was Jim Halpert from The Office.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Because
you are constantly looking at some invisible camera, so
yeah, making that little smirk, that's me. But I think for Jim, he's very I guess what's the word? He's very like close-minded. Maybe not close-minded, but he's very I can't think of the thing, but he's kind of like a mystery until you get to know him, because he's kind of just nonchalant about everything. And but when you really get to know him, and when he confesses his love for Pam and everything, and that whole part, like I feel like that's kind of how I can be at times. Like I'm struggling to show affection for somebody that I'm really in love with, and then like I don't know, I feel like I can identify to that too. And also in high school, people said that I looked like Jim Halpert, a couple of my friends. So
Aw.
yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but he kind of had a big
That's a
nose.
good thing.
But yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, those are my picks.
Nice.
Good picks.
Trevor,
Okay.
you better be Cloud Strife.
Who?
No, the main character from Final Fantasy VII.
He's got that hair, that blonde hair.
Yeah,
True.
not spiked. I've never spiked my hair.
I used
Yeah.
to.
His hair or your hair?
Okay,
My hair.
so I chose the character Evan from the movie Superbad, which was Michael Cera's character.
Oh my god.
I think, like everyone else has said, like this is probably a really tough question. And I was just trying to come up with like anybody who's sort of like introverted or weird or shy or awkward. And I think you could probably go with any Michael Cera character
yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Like I could probably be Michael Cera. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
am
super
Michael
bad. There is like that, not loner quality, because he did have his friend with him like at all times, but not a whole lot of friends. He was awkward, but there was sort of like a whatever, just kind of go with the flow type of attitude he had,
Hmm.
which I think I have as well, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
It's just whatever happens, I'm fine with that.
Isn't that every Michael Cera?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I was also actually
Thinking
thinking
about it.
his character from Arrested Development, which was even more cringy,
Yeah. Love that show.
minus the being in love with your cousin part.
Yeah.
You're not in love with your cousin.
No. So yeah, but I think Evan was probably fit the most.
It's a good pick.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's good.
Okay, so unfortunately we didn't get to the second round of questions, so we will save those for the next one. So anyway, thanks for joining us, and I was joined today by Gigi
Bye.
and Hannah
See ya.
and Trevor,
Man's not hot.
and I'm Kyle. And I don't know what he said, but we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.